Well, from the quiet open plains of the Kruger National Park to the pristine pearly white beaches of the West Coast, we are truly, truly blessed to live in such a beautiful country. But it's becoming very difficult to shake off the tainted image of riots, violence and crime we've seen in South Africa in recent months. Do we have what it takes to bring back international tourists amidst a pandemic? Well, Cape Town tourism expert Mariette Du Toit-Helmbold speaks to us now to give us a dose of reality ahead of the looming December holidays. Mariette, it's lovely to speak to you again. You've been at the helm for so many years now, and you certainly know your tourism market. How are things looking?
Look, it's not looking great, unfortunately, but we know that South Africa has a loyal fan base around the world from a destination and a tourism perspective, and we really have to tap into those visitors that have been here before and know what South Africa has to offer. I think as a post-lockdown destination, we have a lot going for us with open spaces, far from the COVID crowd, and that's certainly in hot demand at the moment. But the reality is that our brand has been tarnished, not just because of COVID, like the rest of the world, but also because of economic and political situations here in South Africa. It's not a first time, though. We've managed to overcome a lot of similar challenges in the past, and we, as an industry, feel that we are resilient and able to overcome. But then we need government to prioritize tourism as a sector, not just in kind of lip service, but really work shoulder to shoulder with the industry to set the record straight and to make sure that tourism truly is that economic driver that can help us recover and lure back our visitors that we so desperately need. Tourism is a vehicle not just for economic growth, but it's a vehicle for peace. It's a vehicle for transformation. It's a fairly low access vehicle where small businesses can thrive. But to do that, government has to help us create an enabling environment and help us lift the travel bans that our country still face from many of our key source markets like Europe and of course UK being one of the key ones.
When you speak to, just say you have a virtual trade fair or you speak to international travel agencies and they ask you questions about the unrest and the Delta virus, for instance, what do you say?
Look, I think South Africa is not unique in terms of COVID. COVID is a global pandemic. And our response as a government and as a country has been good. I think the initial vaccine rollout, albeit slow, has picked up speed. So we are certainly in a position where we are able to offer visitors that kind of peace of mind that is so desperately needed now when you choose a destination. However, brand is very important. So we really need to make sure that from not just from a media perspective, but from an industry and a government perspective, we are on the same page, that our messaging is on point, that we can reassure people from a medical perspective, but also from a destination perspective, that we are ready and we are able to welcome the world back.
What about domestic travel? To what extent can we rely on that to fill in the gap from the international market?
Domestic tourism, of course, has always been the toughest nut to crack because of our legacy of apartheid. I mean, for most South Africans, travel is a complete luxury, certainly not a necessity. And as a result, our domestic market is not necessarily where many other domestic markets around the world is. However, we've certainly seen in the last few years an uptake in domestic tourism, and certainly lockdown and COVID has been an opportunity for the industry to understand just how crucial the domestic market is for tourism. So we've certainly seen growth in domestic tourism. Many South Africans are rediscovering their country and understanding that South Africa has a huge amount of incredible options for us to take up. And I really want to encourage the viewers to get out there, and pack a bag, pack a couple of your precious people into the car and go and explore.
Certainly, for me and my family, it's a no-brainer. We've just got everything at our doorstep here, and we're staying and going on as many holidays as we can.